بسم الله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم. أما بعد, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we are going to talk about الضمائر المتصلة, which means attached pronouns. So in our previous class, we talked about الضمائر, we talked about pronouns, and we said that pronouns is classified into two. We have attached pronoun and detached pronoun. So in our previous class, we talked about detached pronoun, and today we are going to talk about attached pronoun. So which means in Arabic we know it as al-damairul muttasila, which means the attached pronoun. So al-damairul muttasila, the attached pronouns, they are pronouns joined with another words. So they are meaningless if written separately. So these attached pronouns, they are pronouns joined with other words. They must be joined with other words to have to convey meanings. So if they are not joined with other words, they are meaningless. If they are not joined with other words. So and this Adamairul Mutasila too is also classified into two classifications. So we have Adamirul Fa'il, which means subject pronoun, and we have Ad-Damirul Maf'ul, which means object pronoun. So today we are going to talk about subject pronoun, which is known as Ad-Damirul Fa'il. So before we delve into explanation of Ad-Damirul Fa'il, we need to know that in Arabic or in all languages, all words have roots. So because words change from one form to another. So from one form to another, the changes of from one form to another, we should know that these words have roots. So now root words refer to three or four consonant based words which represent a core meaning or concept. So in Arabic language, the root words always consist either three letters or four letters. So uh, you know that we say this, we are want to talk about the attached pronoun. So before we talk about the attached pronoun, we should know the root words, that there are root words before we can attach these pronouns, because we actually said that these pronouns are meaningless if written separately. So for example, let's take kataba as an example. So kataba means he wrote. But we should know that this kaf, ta, and ba is the root word, is the root word. But in Arabic language, if you have three letter word or four letter word, and it ends with, and the last letter ends with alif. I mean, with the last letter ends with fatha. So it always means he do something. For example, we say jalasa, he sat. Kataba, he wrote. And it always means fi'l madi. It always means the past tense. It always refers to past tense. And when it carries fatha, it always refers to masculine. So kataba, he wrote. Jalasa, he sat. Fataha, he opened. Nadara, he looked. So and other. So الضمائر الفاعل للمفرد. Now we start from singular subject pronoun. Singular subject pronoun. So we have two. Two. For example, كتبت الدرس. I wrote I wrote the lesson. As we explained in one of our previous class, that when you have alif wa lam attached to the beginning of any noun, it means the the. So katabtu, I wrote. So this means the. Then darsa, lesson. So katabtu darsa, I wrote the lesson. So this ta is the attached pronoun. So it is attached to this katab. And we have to katabtu. I wrote a darsa. I wrote the lesson. Then we have ta. So these two, we can use it for both. We use it for both male or female. So for example, I am Abdul Ghaffar. I will say katabtu darsa. I wrote the lesson. So if I were Fatima too, I will also say katabtu darsa. I wrote the lesson. Then we have the, which refers to second person masculine. Second person masculine, which is referred to male, refer to a male, and we say katabta darsa. You wrote the lesson. You wrote the lesson. So it's for male. You wrote the lesson. So it's for male. And we have T. So which refers to second person feminine. So it refers to second person feminine. So it's for female. For example, katabti darsa. You wrote the lesson. You wrote the lesson. Katabti. So this T is the pronoun. Is attached to katab. And we know, as I gave an example, I know that the root word is ka, ta, and ba. So this T is attached to this. So, and which means you. But this T, without this T, if it's not joined, all these um detached, all these attached pronouns, all these attached pronouns, if they are not attached to these words, so they are meaningless. So by attaching them to other words, they convey meaning. So يقول كتبت الدرس, you wrote the lesson. Now كتبت, so كتبت, she wrote. So كتبت الدرس, she wrote the lesson. So the lesson. So let's say كتبت الدرس, she wrote the lesson. I didn't write the lesson here. So كتبت, this ta that carries sukun, it refers to she. So كتبت, she wrote. Nam. So كتبت الدرس, she wrote the lesson. كتبت, so she wrote. Then we have كتب. So this fatha uh, on top of this bar. So though we always say that is the mirul mutatir, which is um hidden hidden pronoun, because hidden pronoun, it means that it is not written down, but it is known through the meaning. So kataba, he wrote. So but mostly if a word, the last letter of the word carries fatha and is in a singular form, so it always means he do something. Kataba, he wrote. Jalasa, he sat, as I explained earlier now. Then we move to الضمير الفاعل للمثنى, which means dua subject pronoun. So dua subject pronoun. Now, na means we. We. So I can, as I said even in the last class, that when you say we in Arabic language, we use we for two or more. We use for two or more. Now, for example, katabna, we wrote. Kat, katabna, we wrote. We wrote. Katabna. Let's say I and Yusuf, we say katabna, we wrote. Then tuba, it means you. You. So, and it's used for both male and female. It's used for both male and female. So you can say katabtuma, you wrote. You wrote for both male, is male and female. For both male and female. You say katabtuma, you wrote. So for example, Fatima and Khadija, two of them, you say katabtuma, you wrote. Muhammad and Yusuf, you say katabtuma, you wrote. So this tuma is attached to katab here. and it means katabtuma, you wrote. So the root word is katab. This tuma is uh, attached pronouns, which means you wrote. And we have this alif, this alif. So kataba, they wrote, is what they wrote. So they wrote is for two. We use it for two females. So when this alif is attached to kataba, and it becomes kataba, so it means they wrote, and it refers to two females. So then let's use the jalasa for example. What would you say? We say jalasa, they sat. uh Both, they say two people opened, they opened. Fataha, fataha albab, they open the door. Fataha. So let's say they read qara'a, so that's two people, they read. Now another example we have, then another dual pronoun we have ta, ta. So if this ta is attached to the katab, to the root of the word, so two it means that two females who are not here, and they are two females who are not here. It means third person, jua, third person jua pronoun. So say kataba, they katabata, they wrote. Katabata, they wrote. It means two females. Katabata. Then we can say Fatima and Khadija. Fatima and Khadija, katabata, they wrote. So then let's use this. Let's kataba here for the females. We can say Muhammad and Yusuf, kataba. Muhammad and Yusuf wrote. But for the females, we say Khadija and Fatima, katabata. So they wrote. They wrote. Fatima and Khadija say katabata, they wrote. So Muhammad, so Muhammad and Zaid. So we say Muhammad and Zaid kataba. So they wrote. Fatima and Khadija. So we say katabata, then they wrote. Now then we have plural subject pronoun. Plural subject pronoun. So as we said that na, when if this is can refer to two people or more, so we still bring it here. So katabna darsa, we wrote the lesson. Katabna darisa, we wrote the lesson. So this example, me, Yusuf, Muhammad, or Khadija, or we can say katabna darsa, we wrote the lesson. So tum, it refers to plural, it refers to males if there are more than two. So if I say katabtum darsa, the you wrote the lesson. So katabtum ad-darsa, you wrote the lesson. So it refers to more than two males. For example, this is Muhammad Yusuf. This is Muhammad Yusuf Muhammad Yusuf Zaid. I will say katabtum darsa. You wrote the lesson. So, but if this is mixture between males and females and there are more than two, we still use tum too. Which you katabtum darisa, you wrote the lesson. So then we have tunna. So it refers to more than two females, and we say katabtunna darisa, you wrote the lesson. So it refers to more than two females. For example, I can say Yusuf. So I can say Fatima, Khadija, Maryam, Maryam katabtunna darisa, you wrote the lesson. Then we have na. So if this na is attached, we should try to differentiate. The first one, which is refers to we, is na, um which has the halif after noon na, but this one is just na. So katabna, this na is attached to this word. See katabna darsa, they wrote, they wrote the lesson. Katabna darisa, they wrote the lesson, and it actually refers to more than two females. For example, Muhammad, Yusuf, Muhammad, for example, Fatima, Khadija, and Maryam. We can say Katabna Darisa. They wrote the lesson. Then we have wa umadi and this alif. So if they attached to the root word, so if they attached this last letter, which is ba, it will carry dhamma. It will carry dhamma. And for example, katabu, they wrote. Katabu, they wrote. Katabu, they wrote. Katabu, they wrote. Then, so we say they wrote the lesson. Katabu darsa, they wrote the lesson. So I can say Muhammad, Yusuf, Abdullah, katabu darsa. So Muhammad, Yusuf, so I say they wrote the lesson. So I hope you understand the attached pronoun, and inshallah this is the subject pronoun under attached pronoun. Inshallah, our next class we are going to talk about object pronouns under attached pronouns. I hope you understand. Don't forget to subscribe so that you get notified when we release the next lesson. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وسلم.